G'day, Geoff Lewis here from Seriously Series, and welcome to yet again another update video. As I said in the last update video, there has been a lot of updates this year, and it's the end of 2022. It's just before Christmas, and I'm currently out bush once again, heading up to Sandstone, and I'm camped here at the Mount Ida Conservation Reserve, which is a spot I didn't even know existed, and I just stumbled across it, and it's absolutely amazing. It's probably because I didn't know it was here. Anyway, getting off topic, it's easy to do. If you want to find out what's happening with Seriously Series in 2023, then as always, you know exactly what to do. Click on that subscribe button down below, click on that notification button too, but most importantly, stay tuned. Probably a bit warm for a fire today, but if you don't have a campfire or the bush telly, then you're not really camping, are you? No. But no, it's been a great day. Camping in serious style as always, and what a great car it is. Just love it, love it. But what is happening with Seriously Series in 2023? I hear you say, well, I'll keep that here. A lot, a lot is happening. 2023 is going to be a very different year for Seriously Series. It's going to be a big year, as always, and we're going to be pushing into different spheres of media, a little bit more focused, I guess you could say. So, before I sort of go into that, and don't worry, I'm not getting on a jolly waffle on, the biggest thing that we have here, and it's no discredit to all our supporters on Patreon, but it does come down to funding. Currently where we sit at the moment is small trips like this, our Golden Quest episodes, Edge of the Earth, apart from the airfares, can pretty much be covered by Patreon, which is great. That's fuel and food. That's it. So that's brilliant. For the bigger trips, as I've talked about, the proceeds from Patreon allow to pay for part of the fuel, but that's about it. So anyway, that's great. You know, anything is welcome, whether it's from Patreon, PayPal, or whatever. We are more than happy to receive it, and we are very, very appreciative of getting it, or people taking it out of their own salary. So that's great, but money's always a hard one to talk about, and I don't want to offend anyone, but at the end of the day, you know, to do these adventures and to do these trips, which is what Seriously Series is about, from a long-term perspective, the money that and the revenues that we've got at the moment just don't cut it. One of the reasons why we do the magazine articles, such as Classic Land Rover magazine, Western Four-Wheel Drive magazine, SA 4x4 magazine, and I am looking at fourth one, Overland Journal, is that actually provides a nice little additional income for Seriously Series too. Once again, doesn't pay for all the fuel, but it's just little bits here and there that can make the difference. YouTube itself, I think I've talked about in the past, really doesn't pay anything at all. I think we get $150 a month, and 30% of that is kept by the US government for tax purposes. So, it's really not much. So, anyway, but that's fine. YouTube has its place. It's a great form of exposure. But the biggest thing now is it the right amount of exposure for the right amount of time invested in it? And that's something that I, in particular, have been grappling with for quite some time. We're not a high-grossing view channel, probably never will be. Love it if we were, but we're not. And that doesn't mean what we're doing is wrong. It doesn't mean the video content that we're doing is necessarily bad. It can always be better, but it does beg to differ. Is this actually the right platform for us? So that's one of the things I've been thinking about quite a lot in regards to 2023, and Damon and I have been talking about a lot. We had a very, very exciting proposition lined up in talking about different platforms that would have allowed us to get into over 16 different countries on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and a heap of other online streaming services, and with additional regions being able to be accessed by dubbing Road to Ruin in French and Spanish. But sadly, the company that we dealt with had a very, very poorly written or barely written contract. And it was quite, aggressive's not the right word, but it was a little bit, they were asking probably a little bit too much in regards to commission. So that was, that was incredibly disappointing, and that was about a week ago. Damon and I went over it, the contract, and sent them back a heap of notes in regards to how it can be improved. There was pitfalls in there that actually leaves that company well and truly wide open to lawsuits from other TV series or movies that are partaking in their services. But anyway, that's enough of that. So that was quite frustrating. And the problem is with the arts and online aggregators and all that kind of stuff is it's very, very hard for anyone to actually respond to an email or respond to a phone call. It takes months and months and months. I've been trying to get Road to Ruin on Track Yakka now for 6 months, and I can't get through to them. So you get them one day, they're keen as mustard, but push comes to shove, they don't want to know you. So it's just all a little bit disheartening when it's one door after another getting slammed in your face. So I will pick that up tomorrow. So yeah, it's a bit tough, but life's never easy. And so with that, one of the successes that we've had this year is showing our past adventures on C31, a community-based TV network in Victoria, here in Australia. And so I've thought a little bit about this, and I've given a great deal of thought as to what you guys and girls really, really enjoy, and what is Seriously Series really all about. And it really sort of boils down to one thing, and that's adventure. That's doing what I'm doing now. This is what I enjoy doing. Being out here in the bush, bringing you guys and girls along, filming, sharing what I know, you guys or girls in return commenting and sharing what you know so it can benefit others. It's fantastic. And, and keeping everything very, not minimalist, but just simple, practical. Because I think everything now has just got a little bit absurd. And absurd's probably too strong a word, but it's just got all a little bit stupid, you know, and stupid's too strong a word too. But, you know, people taking coffee machines and beer kegs and 50-foot caravans that weigh more than their vehicle and all that kind of stuff. It's just a bit much. But, you know, each to their own. But the thing that gets me is that that's kind of the expectation nowadays. And it's so far from the truth. So anyway, what I was, before I got sidetracked there, it is about the adventure here at Seriously Series. And so I've thought about how can we bring these adventures to you? How can we do it where we can get funding so then Damon and I can actually take time off work and support our families at the same time, because that's the big problem. And how can we also do it to the level, the quality that Damon and I think that you guys deserve, and better. So what I'm looking at the moment is an application for funding. This will be potentially through Screen Australia and potentially through other grants. And what we're hoping to do is 2 series, one which I've already talked about on the channel before, Trek to the Coast, where myself and Mike, our good friend and assistant cameraman, travel the Great Victorian Desert from north to south down to the Australian Bight. But also what we want to do in later, and that will be in, I think, August of 2023. And then in mid to early October, we will start our 2nd series, which will be across the Nullarbor. And this is shaping up to be an epic adventure. Every syllable in that word epic. We will start off at a place called Streech Mound, where I left you guys and girls in episode 2 of our Golden Quest series, which if you haven't watched it, check it out. I'll give you a bit more context. And from there we will head east across the Nullarbor. So we'll be crossing the Nullarbor basically west to east. And no one, as far as I know from the research that I've done, I could be wrong, has ever travelled east of Streech Mound. No one. It's just a massive blank on the map. There's heaps and heaps. There's 1 or 2 tracks a couple hundred kilometres away that go north-south. There's the Connie Sue, which is further over. But other than that, no one has done it. Never. And that for me gets me really, really excited, because that's what owning a 4-wheel drive vehicle is all about. And my big passion is exploration. So the other thing that's interesting is all the early explorers went round the coast or went round the north of the Nullarbor Plain, or the northern fringe, because there were soaks up there. I think there was 2 or 3 Aboriginal tribes in the area, and they all stayed away from the heart of the Nullarbor Plain due to beliefs, superstitions, whatever you want to call it. So there is the possible potential that no one ever has travelled there before. Don't know. It's a big call. I'm sure someone has, but it's still pretty cool toying that idea that someone hasn't. So that's what we're hoping to do. And that is a very ambitious trip, because the idea with that is that we would use that as a means to get to Adelaide for, I think, the 25th of October, to be there for the Adelaide 4-wheel drive show. So it's taking our previous trip that we did, trip to the show, where we went down the Holland track with Mark and Nick from Sidetrack Australia, and basically cranking it up tenfold. So we'll see what happens with that. So both of those series will be edited for television, for C31. It is our intention at this stage that they will be distributed or shown, uploaded on YouTube. So it'll be on the channel. They'll obviously be available beforehand on Patreon, because that's what we do. But we'd also like to be able to put it on, you know, Apple TV and Amazon Prime and all these other platforms too. We have looked at Vimeo. Vimeo's okay, but the problem that we have is traffic, you know, in regards to people actually wanting to watch what we're doing. Because we're trying to build an audience, and I know there's other entities out there that have a much, much larger audience. And if 10% of their audience goes and buys a copy, that's 10,000 copies. Whereas if we do it, we're probably lucky if we get maybe 100 people do it. So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money and no profit. And as horrible as it sounds, at the end of the day, you've got to generate a profit. So those two trips, that's what we want to do. We'll be using the Series 3 and the Parenti for those trips, or one of those trips across the Nullarbor. We'll just probably use one vehicle for Trek to the Coast to keep costs down, because the cost of fuel is just ridiculous in this country at the moment. And those two trips are actually in aid of a third trip in 2024. At this stage, I think it would probably be, we haven't fixed dates as of yet, but it would be in July 2024. We're going to take the Series 3 with the Parenti and do the Canning Stock route again. From south to north, we're not doing it north to south at this stage, because, you know, we want to keep it the same as last time. You know, there's no point if you change things, you know, that's cheating. So, or you're just opening yourself up for a heap of punishment. I don't know, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But that's what we're hoping to do, the Canning Stock route in 2024. Yep, Series 3 will be there. It'll be in better condition than what it was initially. Hopefully I've got a motor that actually works in it by then. We'll wait and see. But that's sort of our intentions at this stage. So we'll see what the future brings. We're going to keep doing everything that we can to keep bringing these adventures your way. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the content that we've provided here at Seriously Series in 2022, you'd like to be a part of making these series that I've mentioned happen in 2023, then please do support us via Patreon. And I'm not kidding it. When I say this, all proceeds go to this and more, it does. It makes a massive, massive difference having Patreon there. One thing I should say before we go, the Road to Ruin is still doing its rounds in the International Film Festival circuit. I think it's getting shown in New Orleans. It's just finished being shown in Sydney and Melbourne, which I just haven't got round to putting updates on the Facebook page and Instagram. I do apologise. And I think we've got one in Dublin coming up too. So there's heaps of places where it's popping up. We will be sure that it's even been shown in, or going to be shown in somewhere in northern India. But either way, we will try and keep you posted with that more regularly. So anyway. So once again, I will finish the video. I will stop making alternative endings. Please do support us on Patreon. Makes a big deal. makes all this possible and a heck of a lot more. The more support we get, the more adventures we can bring your way. And thank you for all of you that have joined the channel, the community, by clicking on that subscribe button down below and that notification button too. Thank you all very, very much for the thumbs up for the videos that you've enjoyed. It makes a big, big difference. It gets the YouTube algorithm and Dr. Google thinking and maybe going, this isn't a half bad video. And hope you all have had a great year, and I hope 2023 starts off to be the year that you want it to be. Anyway, I'm going to put some dinner on and I'll catch you in our next video. See you then.